Some call it a new norm, but the bottom line is that there's a pandemic and some disturbing events, some violent in nature, as a matter of fact, and an upcoming election that's got everybody going as to who are you going to vote for. Bottom line is that it has brought on some concerns for people from a mental health standpoint. You might be depressed, you might be anxious, you might, uh, certainly be concerned, unsure of what might be coming down the pike. We kind of talked about that the other night with Tim Ray. Tonight, we're going to talk with Dr. Jenny. We're going to find out the things that we can do to learn to cope with these changing times and to enjoy our everyday life. And if you're depressed, we're going to have some answers for you there. If you'd like to be able to interact with us, feel free to leave a comment if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll try and get to those comments as quickly as we can. Remember, on Facebook and YouTube, share this video out with your friends and the groups that you belong to. You can also watch us on Roku and Amazon Fire, as well as Apple and Android TV using the E360 TV application. So without further ado, I would like to go ahead and bring in Dr. Jenny. Well, good evening, Dr. Jenny. How are you? Dr. Jenny.
Good evening. How are you?
You're in.
Can you hear me all right?
Maybe a little bit.
Yes, I'm here.
You are in the studio. Welcome.
I'm in. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're on. And we're talking about coping with these changing times, Dr. Jenny. And I know that some people might be depressed. They might be having anxiety attacks. They might have lost their job. They might be fighting with their loved ones, or they might be fighting with their friends or their neighbors. Some people, God forbid, and it has been happening, are so depressed that they've taken their life. They might be thinking suicidal thoughts. And we're concerned about that. We want to try and help people and let them know that there's help and that there's hope. And so that's what we're talking about tonight. Welcome. How's your day been going so far?
Oh,
It's one of those days.
anxiety.
Anxiety.
Anxiety and stress-filled Wednesday.
Yes,
No,
it's
it's
Health
always a
and
good
Wellness
day.
Wednesday, though. I'm sorry to hear that you had a stressful day.
Yeah, but I have all of the goodies. I have my the Santa Claus bag. It's a Dr. Jenny bag.
Yes.
Kind of like Noah's Ark, and it's just like endless amount of tools and resources.
Well, yeah, some people are struggling. I know that they are. And so tonight we're going to talk about the things that they can do to overcome some things like the anxiety and the depression. So why don't you start, though, by just letting our viewers know a little bit about yourself, Dr. Jenny, and your qualifications. By the way, I'll just say this. Dr. Jenny is local here in Sarasota, Florida, and she has a health, wellness, and a pharmacy down on Main Street in Sarasota, Florida. And so I'm going to turn it over to you, and let's let these people know who you are, what you are, and what you're doing. I know that I'll just say this again because I love you so much, but I'm so proud of her. In 2019, she was voted top naturopath of the year by the International Association of Top Professionals. Doctors call her to explain this stuff from a homeopathic and regenerative medicine aspect. So tell us about yourself, Dr. Jenny.
Yes, so you can see in the background, as always. Let's see, which way do I go? Whoop, it's my pharmacy and wellness center. So I'm actually, I'm in my little nurse's station over here, hiding. I have, so if you hear some noise back there, I'm doing a little bit of remodeling in there,
Okay.
But yeah, Age Vital Pharmacy, www.agevital.com. It's a pharmacy research and wellness center. So we custom compound medications, and we do patient-specific medications, and we mass produce. We distribute medications across the country, all 50 states, to doctors, to hospitals, in our own backyard here in Sarasota County. I provide cannabis cards here locally. We have 17 locations with Marijuana Doctor. And then the pharmacy, we see IV patients. We do alternatives to cancer chemo and radiation. We do alternatives to the big pharmaceutical drugs. If someone is dealing with depression, we don't just promote Prozac. We don't just promote Valium for anxiety. We don't just promote Xanax for anxiety. We get to the root cause of the problem. So here at Age Vital is where we treat you like an integrated whole. We remove all of the obstacles, the band-aids for babies. We get you off the toxic big pharma and help you with better lifestyle choices, helping you to test for real deficiencies and then put back in the body what comes back deficient, whether it's from hormones or enzymes or probiotics or cannabinoids, amino acids, essential fatty acids. It's everybody is different. It's not just a cookie cutter approach. And we're a full service pharmacy. We're a regular pharmacy too. We provide all the nonsense that Walgreens and CVS provides, but we get you off of it because you are not deficient in any of those things. You're not Xanax deficient. You're not Adderall deficient. You're not Zyprexa or Prozac deficient. And these are drugs that are being prescribed right now. A lot of doctors are giving Xanax and Valium and Prozac to people dealing with anxiety and depression during these harsh times, and it's just causing a longer list of side effects than benefits. Because that's not the answer. Taking a temporary band-aid for boo-boo, you're just masking the problem. You're not getting to the root cause. So that's what Age Vital is all about. We're empowering the consumer. We're making healthcare great again.
Well, I'm just going to say that I'm so blessed that we met. Dr. Jenny is my doctor, and she's been helping me get healthy. As a matter of fact, just the other day, Dr. Jenny, we sat there and did what other people can do to try and boost their immune system to avoid getting sick, which might bring some depression for sure, particularly now because there's so much fear about this COVID-19. But we did the intravenous vitamin C with the glutathione, as I recall. And got ourselves healthy right with an intravenous. It was very powerful. I tell you, I felt so much better as a result of doing that. Maybe you can tell the viewers about that experience and the things that we were doing to improve our health. Actually, I think maybe you've locked up for a minute. Hopefully she will unfreeze here in just a second. There we go. And you're back. Did you hear me?
You.
Yeah,
Not
first
at all.
it's okay. You're back. It's all good. So I was saying we did can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was telling the viewers about the fact that we did the intravenous vitamin C with the glutathione, and I wanted you to explain that because I know that people have a lot of fear, which is caused anxiety, which might have cost them their jobs and stuff like this. But the thing that they can do with that intravenous is to get healthy. And maybe you can explain that to them, what we were doing the other day.
Oh, we just did an IV drip together, didn't we, Stephen? We had a whole family party at Age Vital. So we had more stressful days. That was a really stressful day when someone breaks into your house. Homeless people break into your house, meth addicts break into your house because people are desperate and they're breaking into your homes. And it's a nice neighborhood. So an IV drip involves putting a whole bunch of concentrated nutrients, so chemicals like vitamin B12, B6, amino acids, magnesium, zinc, electrolytes, just a whole bag, like a banana bag. Think of when you're going to the hospital and they charge you $5,000, $6,000 for a banana bag that just has electrolytes. So ours is like that, just way better because everything is bioavailable. It's absorbable, rapid. I mean, you have 100% absorption when you're doing it via IV, and you just feel like you're detoxing when you're plugged, literally hooked on these IV bags. So it was amazing. I slept so good, but it's like taking a Roto-Rooter to your entire body, if I can use that analogy. It's like cleansing. It's an instant of, cleansing your cells and cleansing and ridding your body of toxins and inflammation. It's so great for anxiety. It's so great for preventing colds and viruses. And And we had so many IV drips today, several of which were cancer prevention IV drips, and some of them were cancer alternative treatments. And some were just, hey, I'm getting ready to hop on a plane, and I know the radiation is going to weaken my immune system, and I want to be healthy and stay on top of not being exposed. So, some of these were elderly clients too. So, like, they're getting it, they know why they're doing it, and they're doing it every time they hop on a plane. We call it the jet lag IV drip and the pick me up, right? And then the one we did that day, Stephen, last Friday, I think it was Friday, right? Last Friday or Thursday, we did the super immune drip. I mean, that's probably our most heavily loaded. That's like a $400 IV drip that has everything in it, everything. And you felt really great, didn't you?
I did. I felt so good. Absolutely. Had lots of energy, felt very clear. And we had a good time too, as a matter of fact. It was a great, enjoyable time, for real.
It's a great time to catch up on everything, on life, right? It's like getting a treatment, and then you can do a business meeting as well.
It was a business meeting, and it was a get healthy meeting. It was some other things too that allowed us to be able to try and get de-stressed, right? But wonderful. Yeah. And the opportunity to meet, Jason as well was really, really great. I really appreciated that. That's exciting stuff. And China Smith.
We have some local celebrities in there with us. So find out why are celebrities coming and doing IV trips? We have China Smith, 5-time, heavyweight boxing champ coming in here on a regular basis to get his drip on, getting hooked. Jason Seinfeld, that's a big name, the Seinfeld coming in here, getting hooked, getting, their weight loss protocols, their wellness protocols, because they want to be vibrant. They have a lot of work to do. They are constantly creating, and they're exposed just like anybody else, right?
Yes.
So this is Age Vital is your source for health and vitality. Doesn't matter your demographics, doesn't matter how much money you make. This is where people come to find answers and to get healthy. And when they want to live, not just exist, and to detox.
Yes, it's so awesome. And that's why I'm so proud. And if the viewers don't know already, Dr. Jenny actually heads up our board of directors for the medical advisory board. So she is the person that leads us and helps us with the health and wellness. We do this show every Wednesday at 7:00. Remember to come back and join us as well. It is an interactive broadcast. We do have some questions. And so I'd like to take some of these questions here. And I'd like to, do we have some questions, Randy?
Yeah, we do, Stephen. This is a question for Dr. Jenny. Yvonne Collins would like to know, how often do you recommend an IV drip for general health?
For general health, once a month. So if you're doing it just to be, think of it as like you're like you go to Miami, you go to Malibu, you go to LA, you go to Boston. I mean, this is hot. This is what the ladies do, the guys do. It's like getting a mani-pedi. So once a month, schedule an appointment. You don't have to do that big top-notch. I do recommend that big, heavy-duty banana bag. But we have IV drips that are $110, $105. So they're affordable. And you're thinking, okay, you're doing something that's flushing out the toxins that you accumulated throughout the month. So just for right, I would recommend once a month. And this is what people are doing. You go to Las Vegas, you have the hydration heaven that's going down the strip, infusing people. Guess who's providing them with their supplements,
Well, I know that I've done this a few times, Dr. Jenny, and it really has helped me every time that I've done it. Absolutely. I'd like to remind everybody, share this video out. Share to your friends. There's going to be a lot more good information in here. If you'd like to ask a question or have a comment or just a thought, put it in the comments and we'll get to as many of those as we can. Randy, did we have any more comments that you wanted to address? No, not this moment. So, hey, we're waiting on your questions. If you're watching on Facebook, Watch it on YouTube. Put in your questions. We would love to address your direct questions. Now, Dr. Jenny, what can people do, particularly if they're experiencing anxiety for whatever reason, whether it's they lost their job or there's so much fear about COVID-19. I mean, turn on the news and that's enough to give anybody an anxiety attack, I think. That's why I don't do that. I think that's a smart thing to do is that, and we talked about that on Monday. Cut out news for a week and tell us how you feel. I think that might be a good therapy. But with anxiety, what would you recommend for people that are suffering with anxiety right now? Well, we've got a little bit of a locked screen here. I'm sure there she is. You're back.
She didn't hear your question.
Did you hear that question, Dr. Jenny?
I keep losing you guys. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You keep freezing. Is it happening on your end?
No. I can see it on this end. Yes, absolutely. I would. Did you happen to hear that question? No. It was in reference to anxiety.
Can you guys hear me?
Do I need? Okay. So Dr. Jenny was having just an issue there. So we'll get back to her in just a minute. She's going to have to back out and come on back in and hopefully get a better connection. So she'll be right back. And we were talking about anxiety and the things that you can do. And I can just tell you for myself, in the past, I used to have anxiety, and it doesn't mean that I don't get, some anxiety still. What the best remedy that I have found, and because of Dr. Jenny, I've started taking, and I had never done this before, was I started taking the CBD, and I started taking CBD with the full spectrum, which means it's got 0.3% of the THC in it. And so by taking that, and it's the liquid, it's the oil. And so what I do too is that I use it for reducing pain in my back. Let me repeat that, pain in my back, because I've had chronic back pain for years. And so I take a dropper of it, and it immediately makes me feel a little bit calmer, and it reduces the pain immediately. And I found it worked real well. So we have Dr. Jenny back. Let's bring her back in. There we are. Better connection this time, Dr. Jenny? Maybe? Can you close this window here?
Hi.
Okay. Maybe that will help us. This tab. Very good. Okay. So I asked, we'll get there. You can hear me?
I wonder if the weather has something to do with it.
I'm not sure. I am not sure. So we're going to take a look at some comments here. We want to thank everybody that's coming in. I see a question there maybe from Alan, which, about the weekly show. Alan Clark is asking, can you do it weekly? And I think what he's doing is he's referring to the IV drips. And I think that's what you recommend, as I recall, isn't it? Dr. Jenny? Well, we're clearly having some connection problems with Dr. Jenny. And I apologize for that. Sometimes these things happen. This is live video.
There you are.
Okay, you're back. And hopefully we can.
There you are.
So Alan's asking about, can you do it weekly? And I'm pretty sure that he's referring to the IV drip.
Oh, yes. That's it. If you have the pocketbook, you can get a lot of specials if you do it every single week. Weekly is amazing. So that's like getting a weekly massage, right? Like a nice deep tissue massage, but you're getting a cellular massage. So it's really, really good. I love all the skin wellness IV drips. If I had the time, that's probably what I would be doing every single week. Like really high dose vitamin C with glutathione, constantly rebooting that energy cell, the mitochondria. So yes, Alan, that's a good question. You most definitely can do it weekly. And then with patients that have cancer, they're doing it twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week for about 7 weeks to flush out, cancer-causing the cells that are morphed and mutated, or getting out the fungus and the candida.
Okay, I'd
So it
like
just depends
to.
on what you have.
Yes, that's great information. So hopefully that answers your question there, Alan. Now I know that Christina had a question. I'd like to go ahead and put up Christina's question if we could. And she was asking about mouth infections. Let's get that
I think I
question up.
saw that one. Like, what
Yeah,
would you
let's
do for
get
a
that
mouth
question up
infection?
if we
Which
can.
depends on what it is. What type of, is it a mouth, like a herpes simplex infection?
Okay.
Or is it, the cold sores or the canker sores, right? So you can have ulcers on your gums. What type of infection? I mean, they're all different. So usually infections come from a weakened immune system. So I always recommend, bump up your vitamin D, bump up your zinc, bump up your L-lysine. So
Yeah.
these are immune boosting minerals and vitamins. So vitamin D helps you to fight infections faster. L-lysine gets rid of viral infections. And the zinc also helps you to get rid of viral infections. So it depends on what type of infection you have. So always focus on antioxidants, high dose antioxidants when it comes to infections.
So that's a good question that you can reach out to Dr. Jenny specifically. Just send her a message as well. I'm sure that she'll get back to you with the specifics because she needs more information than what we had there, Christina. And of course, that's why we're here. We're trying to help people. I'd like to bring it back though to the CBD. And I was telling the viewers about how I've been using the CBD oil, the full spectrum, how that helps with anxiety. And so, can you maybe tell us about your CBD products that would help with anxiety and stress?
Yep, I love the oils for anxiety and stress. Also, the rapid dissolving tablets are really, really good. They're very fast acting. You put it right underneath your tongue, and then boom. I mean, within 30 seconds to a minute, you feel just this relief of where your anxiety just disappears, your depression. It feels like a lot of people describe it as if like they're done working out or they're done doing yoga. That feeling of relief neurologically, because it's up here. CBD is more of a head high, not the body high like the THC. So you want to make sure that you're taking for anxiety. You're taking anywhere from 25 milligrams up to 3 to 4 times a day, and you can gauge yourself. I'm all about patient autonomy, and I educate my providers, my doctors. They're allowed to let their patients kind of choose their dosing, but start with 25 milligrams and titrate up. So if 25 milligrams doesn't take off the edge, the anxiety, and you'll feel it right away, then move to a 50 milligram. 50 milligram doesn't do the trick, go up to 75 milligrams, et cetera, et cetera. But the more you take, the less you need. So initially, you'll usually start high, and then you drop down, lower as the days go by. But with the initial dosing, you start high because you're so deficient. It's like filling up a gas tank in your car, right? You're going to load it up, and then it's going to start to taper down. Someone's got a bad tooth. Christina's got a bad tooth. Sorry to hear about that. So definitely, Christina, bump up your vitamin D. I saw that usually they give me antibiotics, but I don't like antibiotics. Yeah, and you'll be right. Antibiotics are not the answer. For healthy teeth, I had a patient in today saying she's having all sorts of infections in her teeth, and she's been removing them. I'm like, no. Bump up your folate and bump up your vitamin D. High dose vitamin D, 10 to 1. You're 100% deficient in vitamin D. So you can even look at those levels if you really want to see. But mostly every person that I test for nutritional deficiency is deficient in vitamin D. And vitamin D, you'll start seeing more infections in your mouth. You'll start seeing, even fibroids growing in your breast tissue or uterine fibroids for women. So you'll see more tumor growths. And tumors aren't just, internal, they can be external, like pimples, right? So acne, I mean, that's cystic. Vitamin D helps you to get rid of that. So when you're getting an infection in your mouth and there's something wrong with your teeth, bump up your vitamin D. Also get on, have your doctor check your levels of growth hormone. Human growth hormone also helps strengthen your teeth, your gums, because it just helps to nourish your whole body, really. Your body's getting stronger, your teeth are getting stronger. I had a doctor that works for me. He's one of my medical directors. He's an internal medicine doctor. He was about to have a tooth pulled because he had an infection. Dr. Arthur Hodge, who works out of this facility. And he went to his dentist, and 3 weeks before his appointment, I had started him on growth hormone therapy after getting the results back. He didn't tell me anything about his teeth. So he went to his dentist, and his dentist is like, wait a minute. It was the day of his surgery. She's like, I was supposed to remove that tooth. Why is it stronger than it was a month ago? She had scheduled the surgery out, and he's like, well, the only thing I've been doing differently is taking these amino acid shots. It's growth hormone injection that Dr. Jenny, I work for her, put me on. She's like, oh my gosh, I want to prescribe this for all of my patients now for dental health. So you see how functional that is. You're taking something that's not necessarily for your mouth, but it strengthens your teeth and your gums. And it avoided an entire surgery for him. He was going to have his teeth pulled. Isn't that the case with mainstream medicine, right? If it doesn't work, rip it out.
Right.
Rip out her uterus. Let's rip out the thyroid. Let's rip out, all your lady bits or all your man bits, right?
Right.
As
Well,
to
toothaches are, gosh, one of the worst pains I think that there probably is. So I can appreciate that, but I know that antibiotic is an important factor to try and get that infection killed right off the bat. And then you can kind of go from there. Now, I know that we've got a question from one of our regular viewers and a local celebrity himself as well, really. Oysen Green is with us here, and he is the head soccer coach over there at, remember, Steve?
Osheen.
Huh?
Osheen.
Osheen.
Yep, he's Irish. Hi, Osheen.
He has a question for you, Dr. Jenny. Why don't you address that?
Yeah,
Osheen.
thank you.
I hadn't
Yes,
personally met him, but I'm looking forward to it, Osheen.
Yes, these Osheen, these are definitely over-the-counter items. There's less than 0.3% of THC in the product, and we even have THC-free CBD, but the CBD oil is over-the-counter, and I have it in multiple different strengths from 450 milligrams all the way up to 6,000 milligram vials. So depending on what you have, I have really high concentration vials that you can, purchase. You can go straight to the website and buy these vials, or if you're a local, you can come into our store and check out the different vials. But yes, these are over the counter.
Is that full spectrum then, or does it come both ways then? Does it come, full
Yep,
spectrum?
I make it in all ways. I make it in all shapes. Yep, I make full spectrum, which has the 0.3% THC. I make it in the broad spectrum, which has 0.1%, and I make the THC free. I make it in a tincture, in an oil, in a solution, in a rectal rocket, in a vaginal suppository, rapid dissolving tablets, topical creams, moisturizers, cleansers, gummies, you name it. This is a manufacturing facility. We're a pharmacy. We're producing and formulating new different delivery mechanisms to suit the consumer, depending on what the consumers are looking for. Is it for the consumer? I saw you blush when I said rectal rocket, Stephen.
Yeah, that's like, wow. Ooh, boy. It hits you quicker that way, huh? Any way you want it, folks. Any way you need it. Whatever.
That's a preferred. Yes.
All right, I would like to explain.
A lot of doctors prefer it. I have this one doctor here locally
Yeah.
that he makes everything into a rectal rocket. And all of his patients take it. They take their vitamins that way, and they take
Okay.
their hormones that way. That's just the way his practice runs, and his patients are
And
happy to each their own, Stephen.
yeah, okay. So
But
maybe it's because the suppository is quicker, works better, quicker, or something like that.
believe it or not, the rectal mucosa is a very similar to the oral mucosa for absorption, and it's a great way to, especially when you're dealing with supplements that can, cause a little bit of mind altering or psychotropic side effects like THC. Believe it or not, if you did that in a rectal rocket, it doesn't get you high, but it gets rid of the pain. So, but if you took THC orally, it gets you high. If you do it under your tongue, it gets you high. Not everybody's looking for that high. Not everybody, wants that. And then there's lots
Right.
of issues in that area too. With my urologist, you have hemorrhoids and anal fissures, and there's a lot of diagnoses down there, and you're just getting right to the source, and then you're healing that issue.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to speak to people that are depressed. I wanted you to speak to them, because so many people are depressed right now. Mental health, people are having serious mental health issues as a result of dealing with these changing times. They don't know how. This is like nothing we've ever experienced. People walking around with masks, just social distancing, washing our hands. And I think there's some great stuff like washing your hands more regularly and things like this, taking things like the vitamin C, the IV drips like we talked about. But what would you specifically say to these people that might be depressed? How can we help them get out of this depression besides stop watching the news?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, believe it or not, removing the stressors is number one. If you're getting anxiety from something or someone, an outside source, and if it is the news, you take a break. Limit yourself to how much you're exposing yourself to the news. If it's a spouse, if it's a bad relationship, I recommend getting counseling, right? And then, but supplements, CBD is number one because it's fast acting. Then do nutritional evaluation. Check to see what the underlying causes are, whether it's B12, whether it's folate, whether it's progesterone or magnesium, whether it's GABA amino, whether it's testosterone or growth hormone. You see, there's a lot of chemicals that are associated with, depression and anxiety. But CBD, like I said, that's the instant, support, where you're going to get that instant support and you're going to be happy about it. And then you can move to like a B12 shot or a B complex shot. I have regulars that come in here every single week and get their vitamin injections, and they said it has completely changed their entire, demeanor, with their personality, that they're happy.
I believe it.
So
I mean, the other day, right? The other day when I came home, in that evening, I felt so good, but I just didn't feel stressed. I felt a lot more energy. I was because I know I felt like I was dragging when I went in. And been pretty tired, a whole lot of tired lately. Probably has something to do with how many hours I put in. But the bottom line is that sleep as well is a super important part of this, isn't it? Getting enough sleep. And then obviously these things, I can tell you, they made me feel so much better. It was incredible. I mean, it's such a great feeling to feel good, right? Who doesn't want to feel good? So, but sleep is important, right, Dr. Jenny?
Sleeping is one of the top. And if you can't go to sleep, there's another issue on its own. Why can't you turn your mind off? And there's different levels of insomnia, but it's all interrelated. The body's a synergistic whole, Stephen. You can't just focus on one, area. I had this one OBGYN, this is crazy. I said to him, a patient, for obstetric stuff. But then she also had, you know, a fever, a temperature, but he refused to treat her for the fever because he's like, oh, no. I'm a gynecologist. I don't do that. I don't treat colds. It's like, what? But you gotta make sure that we're treating the entire body, not just branches of it, right? Because the body works together. So getting enough sleep, figuring out why you can't sleep. CBD helps for sleep. Taking a full spectrum CBD oil right before you go to bed, taking about 2 to 3 mLs before you go to bed of a 2,000 milligram vial. That does wonders, and it helps with the anxiety, it helps with the depression, and it helps you because if you're sleeping, you're regenerating. If you're not sleeping, you're not regenerating. So again, more neurological warfare. So it is so important to get sleep. So if you have anxiety, if you have depression, analyze how much sleep you're getting, and then get to that root cause. You know, start focusing on your sleep first, and then take the supplements.
I wanted to go to a question here. I'm running a watch party. Thanks for everybody for watching, by the way. We really appreciate the fact that you're joining us. Remember, we come every Wednesday evening on Health and Wellness Wednesday. That's what we call it at the LWN Live with Nature Foundation. So yeah, today's about health and wellness awareness. It's the Ask Dr. Jenny show at 7 p.m. We want you to come back 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can also watch us on your smart TV through Roku or Amazon Fire, Apple or Android TV by downloading the E360 TV application. Watch us right on TV because this is in fact a TV show, but we're grateful too for these Facebook viewers as well. And so in my watch party here, Florita Bai, I hope I didn't hurt your name there, or yeah, BIE. Is it helpful, Dr. Jenny, for back and muscle spasms? So let me read this again. Muscle spasm at shoulders in the back. So I think she's referring to the CBD, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, CBD helps with nerve. It works as a sedative, and it works also for getting those spark plugs reactivated. So it does help on back pain and joint pain. So it does help if you're having muscle spasms. Now, spasms are typically electrolyte related, but misfiring spark plugs. So start with the CBD if these muscle spasms are, if they're painful, if they feel like fiery spark plugs going off, like they're being electrocuted. Yeah, get on CBD right away because it'll help with that nerve damage, that pain. It will actually regenerate, you know, healthy cells and healthy nerves. And then after that, look at your B12, your folate, your B1, your B6, your B5, your biotin, your methionine, your inositol-choline. These are all B vitamins. Just look at all your B complex.
B vitamin, okay.
Yeah, do a B vitamin test to see where your levels are, because B vitamins are all about nerves. And if your B vitamins are low, you're going to have nerve pain. You're going to have neuropathy. You're going to have central nervous system issues, neuropathic pain, and that's like being electrocuted, diabetic, hypoglycemic. Yeah, you see how it's all connected. So
I was thinking muscle spasms. So there's a lot more to what I thought about muscle spasms. It can cause nerve damage. That's what I was hearing, but we can help it. I always thought maybe it was like a lack of potassium or something, is what I'd heard. Eat a banana and that will help with the muscle spasms. Is that true? Or it's
potassium, that's an electrolyte. Mm-hmm.
Is an electrolyte
mineral? Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like being dehydrated. So when you're having a spasm, that's what I'm saying. Electrolytes. It could be as simple as you're not getting enough magnesium, you're not getting enough potassium, you're not getting enough salt. So all of these electrolytes, I would get a full spectrum, a mineral, like my mineral drops, right?
Yeah.
Drop those in the water. And drink more water with lemon juice and honey, right? Make it taste. If you don't like just plain water, I usually put lemon juice, honey, and mint, and I mix it all together, and it's so delicious. And then I know I'm getting my electrolytes from it. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm using those mineral drops, Dr. Jenny, that you have as well, and those are really good. So every time I get water now, I didn't get it into this one here, but this is the Nestle, and probably not so great because they've stripped everything out of this one, right?
Yep.
Stripped everything out of this one. So what I'll do, I didn't get it because I was in such a rush, but I'll put the mineral drops right into there, and then I put back what's important into that water because water is really important. And I also want to go to Yogi Ramesh Pandey, and he had made a comment here as well in the watch party. Yogi, we appreciate you. We love you too, by the way. He was on our Get to Know show. It's all about the laughing yogi, and he wants to remind us to relax and laugh off stress. Laughing is so good for us as well. And that's such a great point.
Yes.
Laughter.
Watch some comedy.
and
or
tell us
yourself a 5-year-old, because 5-year-olds are so funny.
Now, yeah, right. We need to find the 5-year-old in us to have more fun and imagination again, don't we?
My kids make me laugh all the time. I never stop laughing. Get around children. They'll make you laugh. Just tell them, make me laugh.
They can make you cry too, but that's okay too.
It's funny. I do that. I'll even say that to my staff, though. I'm like, okay, guys, make me laugh right now.
It's a great
therapy. Whoever can make me laugh.
You know, and since we're talking about this stuff, of course, too, the LWN Live with Nature. Well, I named it Live with Nature for a reason, because nature's healing. Get out and take a walk if you haven't been outside. Because you're all cooped up because they said don't go anywhere, don't do anything. Get outside and take a walk. Get up early. Watch my videos in the morning. We wake up with the sun. Come on, let's go. Get up and
You're an early bird that gets his worms, Stephen.
That's what I do. That's what I've been doing. Those that watch that Sunrise Daybreakers Tribe in the morning, you know, I did do a post, and we are cutting back on some of those shows because we got so much going on. This is a super important show, and we're trying to focus on several special projects that we've got going. So that's why I'm going to cut back. I'm going to put out some of the old videos for you, and you can kind of reminisce, and we can, because I've been doing this for years, and we're going to put some of the old stuff back out there, but then we'll always be there. And this is a great way to help our stress as well, is meditation. Because I do a guided meditation every Monday morning, right? Yes. Namaste. And so, yeah, relaxation through meditation is a super important factor. Can you tell us about that? I mean, I do a guided meditation Monday mornings to try and help people on different subjects. So yoga, right? That's good for you too.
Yoga, Pilates, Pure Barre, right? Even just breathing meditations. One of my personal assistants that I had was a professional yogi. She was like a 500. I guess there's levels of them, and she was just a professional yogi, and she would do guided breathing to people not breathing correctly, right? So just learning how to breathe through one nostril and then exhale through the other, going inhale, exhale. And then even that, taking deep breaths and counting to 10. And it was just so therapeutic. So anytime I was stressed, she would always make me do the breathing techniques, and that's so important. But yeah, I should do one of your guided meditations, Mr. Stephen.
Well, you're just going to have to join me on Monday mornings. You're going to, you probably already get up early, I would imagine.
Oh, with those kids, they wake me up with the butt crack of dawn.
It's getting a little bit later now because I've always geared it around a sunrise, and it was like I had to start at 6, and now it's about 6:30. And then as we move into fall, it'll get later. But yeah, Monday mornings at about 6:30 right now, Eastern Standard, you can join us for Sunrise Daybreakers. And every Wednesday at 7 p.m., we're doing the Ask Dr. Jenny show. And then on Mondays evenings, we're doing as well the, Town Hall Get to Know. But tonight, we're talking about how you can heal through nature. You can heal through many different things that we've been talking about this evening. We want to remind you to share this video out if you're watching on Facebook or your YouTube. If you've got questions or comments, we will try and address those as well. We want to thank everybody too. But what I want to go to next here, because I think it's brought a lot of stress for people with respect to having to wear these masks. I mean, I'm seeing people walking down the street all by themselves. Nobody's around wearing masks. Know that in Manatee County, they've closed down the beaches again. Masks are required in Sarasota downtown, well, within city limits. So people are wearing masks. How does that affect people's physiology, Dr. Jenny?
Oh, when they're not wearing masks or when they are wearing masks?
Oh, because they were having to wear masks, all these rules, stay at home, quarantine.
Yeah, I mean, it's like being muscled. That's mental warfare too. It's like constantly wearing a mask, constantly having to go, and it's difficult to breathe, and you're recirculating your oxygen. You got to remember these masks were developed for, to be in my lab, to be in a surgery room. When I'm making medications, when my pharmacists are making medications, my team, we're in clean environments with 0 particles of bacteria. We're in clean rooms, and we're wearing masks now when open in nature everywhere. How can you be one with nature when you're suppressing your face and you're like a dog that's being muzzled, right? So that's stressful. You feel this, especially if
do you think you need to wear one outside, Dr. Jenny? Should you have to wear one when you're outside if you're not around other people, do you think?
I know. I don't agree with that. I don't think you have. If you're outside, there's trillions of particles of bacteria outside, Stevens. Trillions. You're not going to get, these masks work one way anyway. So some of the bacteria that's outside is beneficial to enhance your immune system to begin with. So then when you're covering yourself up, you're kind of being counterproductive. I think they went around it, the wrong way. If you have an autoimmune disorder, I think, okay, stay inside. If you have this, you have Alzheimer's, MS, you have Parkinson's, right? You have fibromyalgia, you're elderly. Yeah, we should have kept people, but young, strapping, I really think they went around it the wrong way. I can rabbit trail on that, but yeah, I mean, you wear the mask to protect somebody that is vulnerable, like a grandparent. You're going to a nursing home. You don't want to expose them because their bodies are so fragile and weak to begin with. So, I see a question here, question mark. Yes, Cynthia, you can get shots. You see a question there by Cynthia. Dr. Azulai, yes, to send in a prescription, fax it in, and you can get B12 shots from Age Vital.
That's really awesome. That's great news. I know it's helping me for sure. And you're right down on Main Street here in Sarasota, but you are also able to be reached too with the telemedicine line. And I just wanted to kind of touch on the LWN for a second. With relation to helping people with all of this stuff, because that's what the LWN plans to do, is be that resource to be able to help people get the services that they require, and that we're opening up this referral center, and that you're very well connected with others so that we can help people get the services that they need. You've got great products. You can meet with them. You can help them through their situation by seeing exactly what's going on with them, and then actually make product for their specific situation, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's not just a cookie cutter approach. Biochemical individuality and specific to the individual's needs. Some people don't like swallowing pills. So we put it into a cream, we put it into a trophy, we put it into a rapid dissolving tablet, put it into a rectal rocket.
Okay, Cynthia has a question here regarding the B12.
Yep, I answered that question. Yep.
Oh, you got to that. Okay, I was unsure whether we had got.
You can write a prescription.
And about the shots. And you told her how to get the shots, right?
Yep.
Okay. I guess I wasn't paying that close attention. Darn it. What's going on? The point is that you do have this health and wellness center as well as a pharmacy. You're compounding this stuff. People are coming to you. The doctors and other companies come to you to have this stuff made. That's how serious it is, right, Dr. Jenny?
That's right. Yeah, we're a pharmacy. Doctors write us prescriptions. We're licensed. We're just like Walgreens. We're just like CVS. But we're not. We're better because we care about you, the consumer. We're not just going to let you take a bunch of medications and not know how to get off those medications too.
So I'd like to also
empowered.
I'd like you to also tell the viewers, you've got a telemedicine line. You also have the ability to have nurses go right out to the house. Maybe you can tell us about those aspects of your service.
We have nurses on our payroll. So we have, a nurse director that has all her nurses, and she coordinates with nursing homes. Patients that don't want to leave their houses because they are autoimmune, they are high risk, we come straight to your house. We'll bring the IV drips to you. We'll bring the vitamin injections to you. We'll bring your medications to you. We'll do a physical at your house or at your work, wherever it is that you want us to go, we can come to you. So it's concierge wellness services. It's not, we'll bring the pharmacy, we bring the ER to you.
That's a real answer right now with people having to, isolate at home, particularly people that are sick. Because I'm understanding that if someone that has COVID-19 has to literally isolate themselves within their own house away from the rest of their family, is what I'm hearing. Probably true. And, obviously you want to keep distance, and then you're going to be wearing a mask inside your house for sure. But these nurses will come right out in those situations and help those people, right?
Yeah, we're fully geared. We got our bodysuits, we got our masks, we got our goggles, we got our gloves, and we got all the goodies that come. We can even do the COVID testing kits at your house.
You can.
For example, like I make my staff do this. Every 2 weeks I test my staff. So these are rapid COVID testing kits. I give you results in 10 minutes. Why go to these facilities where you have to wait hours just to get something shoved up your nose when I can do a quick little finger prick and tell you if you're fighting it off, whether you've never been exposed or if you have the antibodies and already fought it off.
So that's something that is like an immediate answer, or does it take a few days to get the answer on that?
No.
One step.
Testing kits. One
wow.
step. Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah, and these are the only ones. These are the only ones that are FDA approved. So
FDA.
Several, FDA approved, and we give you the results instantly. You can come into the store. We'll give you results. $60 office visit. We come to your house. It's $150.
Okay.
So, but we give you the results in 10 minutes. We'll do it right there. We analyze it right there in the comfort of your own home. Or you come here, we take all measures to be super clean, super sterile. We bleach our rooms. We have, companies to come to desanitize and deviralize. So, I just did mine yesterday. I've never been exposed. Even though I've been around people with COVID. We do house calls. Never been exposed. But I do my vitamin D shots every single week. I do my tri-immune injections every week. That includes glutathione.